Building on the foundation of fiduciary duties, understanding single agency is essential for every Arizona real estate professional. Single agency represents the most traditional and straightforward form of representation, where a licensee acts exclusively for one party in a real estate transaction under ARS Section 32,215(3) and Commissioner's Rule R4-28-1101 and Substantive Policy Statement Number 2005.13, the licensee owes full fiduciary duties to their client and must exercise undivided loyalty, confidentiality, disclosure, and reasonable care. Whether representing a buyer or a seller, a single agent's responsibilities are clearly defined. Protect the client's interests, act in good faith, and maintain absolute integrity throughout the transaction. In a single agency relationship, there is no divided loyalty or shared representation. The licensee represents either the buyer or the seller, but not both. This clarity allows the client to receive full advocacy without the conflicts that may arise in dual or limited representation. For example, if a licensee represents a buyer in purchasing a home, that agent must negotiate with the seller solely for the benefit of the buyer, obtaining the best price and terms possible while maintaining confidentiality regarding the buyer's financial limits or motivations. The same principle applies when representing a seller. If the agent is hired to list a property, their duty is to market it effectively, disclose all material facts about the property, and negotiate for the seller's best possible outcome. Arizona law reinforces that single agency relationships must be established through written employment agreements to ensure transparency and legal enforceability. For sellers, this agreement is known as the listing agreement, while for buyers, it is formalized through the buyer-broker employment agreement. These documents outline the scope of representation, compensation, and duration of the relationship. Under R4-28-1101, both forms must clearly identify the parties, define the agency relationship, and specify how the agent will be compensated. The duties within single agency directly reflect the fiduciary responsibilities previously discussed, but their application is intensified by the exclusive nature of the relationship. Obedience requires the agent to follow all lawful instructions of their client, even when they conflict with the agent's personal opinions. For instance, if a seller insists on listing their home at a price above market value, the agent must comply while advising the client of potential challenges. Loyalty demands that the agent never act in a way that benefits another party to the detriment of their client. For example, steering a buyer toward one property over another because of higher commission would constitute a breach of loyalty. Disclosure plays an equally vital role in single agency. The agent must inform the client of all known material facts that may affect their decisions, such as competing offers, inspection results, or changes in market conditions. For example, a buyer's agent who learns that a home was previously under contract but fell through due to inspection issues has a duty to share that information with the buyer. Similarly, a listing agent must disclose to their seller any known facts that may impact the property's marketability or value. Arizona's R4-28-1101B emphasizes this standard of disclosure, holding agents accountable for the accuracy and completeness of information shared with clients. Confidentiality in single agency is absolute and enduring. The agent must safeguard all information provided by the client, including motivations, financial qualifications, or personal circumstances. If a buyer confides that they are willing to offer above list price, that information cannot be shared with the seller or other parties. Likewise, if a seller reveals their urgency to move due to a job transfer, the agent must not disclose that fact to potential buyers, as it could weaken the seller's negotiating position. The duty of confidentiality extends beyond the close of escrow or termination of the relationship. as stated in R4-28-1101. Accounting is another crucial aspect of single agency. It requires the licensee to manage all funds, documents, and contractual timelines with precision and transparency. This means ensuring that earnest money deposits are delivered to escrow within the specified time, providing clients with accurate closing cost estimates, and maintaining proper records for the broker's review as required by ARS Section 32-2151.01a. A failure to account for client funds or to comply with transaction deadlines can lead to disciplinary action by the Arizona Department of Real Estate, ADRE. The final and perhaps most visible duty in single agency is reasonable skill and care. Under R4-28-1101I, a licensee must perform with the same level of competence and diligence expected of a knowledgeable professional in the Arizona real estate community. This means understanding contract terms, guiding clients through inspections, explaining financing contingencies, and ensuring compliance with all applicable laws. For example, if a buyer asks about the floodplain status of a property, the agent must verify the information rather than rely on assumptions. If a seller inquires about disclosure obligations, the agent must provide accurate guidance based on Arizona's Seller's Property Disclosure Statement (SPDS) requirements. To illustrate, consider a scenario where a buyer's agent discovers a competing offer has been submitted on a property the buyer loves. Acting under single agency, the agent must immediately inform the buyer, help them strategize their response, and guide them through potential escalation clauses, all while maintaining full loyalty and confidentiality. In another scenario, a listing agent might receive multiple offers. The agent must present all offers promptly to the seller, explain their strengths and weaknesses, and advise based solely on what serves the seller's best interest. These examples demonstrate how the principles of single agency create clarity, fairness, and professionalism in every transaction. Review summary. Single agency is the clearest and most loyal form of representation in Arizona real estate. It is governed by ARS Section 32-2153 and R4-28-1101, requiring exclusive representation of one party, either buyer or seller, with full fiduciary duties. Written employment agreements, such as listing or buyer-broker agreements, define the terms of this relationship. The duties of obedience, loyalty, disclosure, confidentiality, accounting, and reasonable skill and care are amplified in single agency, ensuring clients receive undivided advocacy and honest guidance. Violations of these duties can lead to ADRE sanctions, loss of license, or civil liability. Discussion. Why is single agency considered the most transparent form of representation? Answer. Because the agent represents only one party's interests, eliminating conflicts of interest and ensuring undivided loyalty and advocacy. How does single agency enhance fiduciary duties? Answer. It amplifies the agent's obligation to act exclusively for one client, strengthening duties of loyalty, confidentiality, and full disclosure. Why must single agency relationships be documented in writing? Answer. Written agreements, required under R4-28-1101F, clearly define the relationship, compensation, and scope of representation, protecting both client and agent. Closing remarks. Single agency remains the gold standard of client representation in Arizona real estate. It reinforces the agent's role as a trusted fiduciary, ensuring that loyalty, care, and transparency guide every interaction. By adhering to statutory requirements and ethical standards, licensees not only comply with Arizona law, but also uphold the integrity of the profession. A well-executed single-agency relationship builds trust, protects clients, and strengthens public confidence in the real estate industry.